It is the 13th of October 2022. A very good morning. Thank you so much for tuning in to Good Morning Uganda Extra with me, Sharon Chomdisha. It's a beautiful day, a bit sunny. I hope it continues like that for the whole day. And yes, I think nowadays it's just better for you to just walk with an umbrella in case anything happens, because you can't really tell with the weather. Once again, you're very welcome. Now, for a better future, for great families and a better Uganda, one of the most significant investments we can make is for the girls to have a voice, is for an education for them, and for them to feel empowered. On December 19th, 2011, United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution 66 out of 170 declare October 11th as the International Girl Child Day and the unique challenges girls face around the world. Now, the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child was Our Time is Now, Our Rights, Our Future. The dialogue is sponsored by BRAC Uganda, FAWE, the Ministry of Education and Sports, and in partnership with MasterCard Foundation. Today with me in studio is Mr. Adiama Joseph, the head of Programs Forum for African Women Educationalist Forum, that's FAWE, and Miss Jovia Nasiwa, chairperson, MasterCard Foundation, who are going to be a part of this discussion, where we're going to be discussing the girl child, why is it even worth celebrating, why this day was important, and if really we're achieving things to making sure that the girl child is noticed, is empowered, and is being helped to make a difference. A very good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Joseph Adiama. I work for FAWE Uganda as a head of program. Thank you so much for hosting us this time.
Thank you so much, Sharon. My name is Jovia Nasiwa, chairperson, MasterCard Foundation alumni at BRAC Uganda, an organization that unites all scholars that have gone through the scholarship program.
Okay. Now, please make sure that you're part of the conversation by writing to us on Twitter, that's at UBC Uganda, and also on my Twitter as well. You can leave us any comments. We want to hear from you. We want to let this be a discussion between you and us. Now, we will start off with understanding that the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child was Our Time is Now, Our Rights, Our Future. What does this mean to you? I'll start with Mr. Adiama.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe I will start from, like you have said, from what the event, what the theme is. Time is right now, time is now. Yeah, maybe also to take you back to the COVID-19 experience, where we have seen a number of girls getting pregnant and with a bleak future, or whether they can get back to school. And yet we know every girl, every person has a right to education. So it is a call for all of us, partners, to see that there are opportunities, there are all opportunities for every girl to be in school, whether you are pregnant or you have a baby. For FAWE, we do quite a number of programs supported by MasterCard Foundation. We provide scholarships for both boys and girls, although 70% is for the girls. But we also have what we call second chance education, where we provide opportunities for girls to get back to school, whether they are pregnant or they have babies. So we create opportunities for these girls to get back to school, because we feel even when they are pregnant or they have their babies, still they can be in school. So we take advantage of the guidelines that have been set by the Ministry of Education on school re-entry that provide opportunities for girls, for schools to accept these girls when they're in their schools, whether they are pregnant or they have their babies. So we do a lot of partnership with the communities, with the local leaders, to ensure that you create an environment that provides for these girls to be in school.
What does that environment look like?
I mean, environment that is supportive. All of us know that most schools, especially religious founded institutions, do not allow girls to be in school whether when they are pregnant or they have their babies. So that means there has to be a lot of advocacy, a lot of engagement with these institutions, with these stakeholders, to see that these girls have a right to be in school. What is the role of the school? What is the role of the parent, of the community, ensuring that we can support these girls, maybe creating an environment in school, creating a space where such babies for these girls can be taken care of, or providing a nanny so that the girl can come to school, have her baby there, and still go to class, and still she can complete her education. So that's why we go into this, as we celebrate this day, we want to advocate and urge all partners that still all is not lost. Even if someone has gotten pregnant, has dropped out, they can get back to school.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
This has been an issue that has been exacerbated by COVID-19. It was existing, but COVID-19 made it a bit worse.
Yes.
How were you able to maneuver and help? Because there was also a very big debate on how other students would feel studying with girls that have gotten pregnant, or girls that have had their children. How were you able to maneuver that, mostly looking at how big it became when it was, after COVID-19?
Yeah, there is a lot that is really needed around acceptance. If the schools, first of all, accept, if the school administrators accept, then there's a lot of engagement that is needed with the learners themselves, that they need to appreciate that their colleagues, could be your sister, that is in this situation. Would you want to laugh at your sister that she drops out because she's pregnant? So we do a lot of engagement, we do mentorship with the learners. First of all, the learners themselves who are pregnant, who they have their babies, they have to appreciate that the environment there is not just easy. They have to be resilient and be able to be in class and compete with others, even when their babies are there. And then, of course, we do this kind of engagement with the schools, with their school administrators, with the parents. Sometimes in some schools we have seen parents come to school and take care of their babies when their daughters are in class. I know it is a challenging one, but with a lot of advocacy and engagement with the parents, with the schools, with the communities, and with the learners themselves. We have seen boys, for example, make pads for girls. They participate, we train them on how to make usable pads, and they make the pads for their sisters and support them to be in class even when they're in their periods.
I'll talk to Ms. Nazua now.
Thank you.
Yes, the theme and what that means.
The theme, our time is now, our rights, our future. To me, I would relate it to that many times society or the leaders always tell us, the girls or the youth, that the future belongs to you. So for us, we are saying we shall not keep on waiting, we shall not keep on postponing. So what we shall do is, let us own it today, let us start now. So if our time is now, let us utilize whatever the resources are. Let policies be made right now. Let resources be collected right now. Because our rights, when we say our time is now, what we are saying is we want our rights to be respected now. The more they keep telling us the future is tomorrow, it could be the reason why they're postponing everything. Let them mind it that our time is now. Our rights should be considered for our future, not waiting for the future.
Who says your rights are not considered?
I'll say that maybe, I'll not say that our rights are not considered, but I'll say are not respected. Because you realize, if we say that the girl child also has an opportunity and a right to education, like Mr. Joseph has put it right, that very many families do not consider that. There are societies that will put a girl down to stay at home and not attend school, because for them probably they do not believe that she qualifies or she needs the education. They do not respect that right, that the girl child also deserves education. And maybe the ministry, all policymakers have done it to put up those policies, but maybe they are not emphasized, they are not implemented rightly. They are also being neglected. The policies have been made, stakeholders have come up, but they're not minding them right. So we are calling them up to say that our time is now. Our rights should be respected for our future to be better.
I know you've touched a little bit about, the theme and why it was even made, why October 11th was decided on being the day to recognize the girl child. But why did the UN designate this day, and why do you think it's important? Like, more specifically, why do you think it's important? I'll start with you, Nasua.
I think the UN designated this day because very many reports were written, research was made, and the girls' rights were not respected, like I said. The rate of school dropout of girls is high. The early marriages are still, up to now, are still going on. We are celebrating 10 years, but they are still going on. So by that time, the UN designated this day to emphasize, to call out stakeholders, to remind them to remind parents to carry on guidance, to carry on sensitization, such that if this day is brought out, if stakeholders and partners will be able to look at it separately, to know, okay, a girl child needs to be respected and given opportunity to go to school, to education, to health, to very many various things. So putting up this day emphasizes and reminds and calls upon whoever is responsible to respect a girl child.
Education becomes one of the prominent things that comes out when we're having this discussion. Why do you think, Mr. Adjama, why do you think we have so many school dropouts? Mostly girls, because we're looking at the girls' day. Yes, girl child.
Yeah, thank you so much. When you read the statistics, national statistics about enrollment, you see at primary, for example, there's 100, almost 100. I think now we're talking about 100% enrollment. But when you come to completion, for girls, I think it's even less than 50%. And in secondary, it's even worse, where we have completion rates at secondary or less than 30%. But all this is coming from, especially for girls. Of course, when you speak to communities, the first thing they will tell you is poverty. They don't have opportunities for girls to be in school, for children to be in school. But then there are underlying factors. Of late, we work in the Rwenzori region, in Kasese, Bunbuja, and Toroko, and working around social norms, trying to identify the kind of bad norms that prevent girls from being in school. Issues to do with early marriages, I've spoken about, defilement, issues with child labor. This kind of environment that just makes girls difficult for a girl to be in school, for a child to be in school. And when we say the time is now, it's about really going back and reminding ourselves about these rights, that every child has a right, every girl has a right to be in school. Can every stakeholder wake up and do their part? I remember in one of the communities we are in Bundipujo, a parent was telling us, when a child from a rich family impregnates your daughter, it is luxury, it is pride, you feel good, you don't even want to confront that family because you think fortune has come. Because a child from a rich family impregnating your daughter is an opportunity for you to become rich, which is not the case. So we are saying, as we look at this theme, the time is now, can we all put ourselves to the dock and see, can we play our role? Yes, the ministry has put in the guidelines. Can this be implemented? We have the school-oriented guidelines. But up to now, if you go to schools, for example, those are funded by religious institutions, still there's a hassle for girls who are pregnant, for example, who are carrying babies to be in school. So can this be put into practice and ensure that we enforce that girls can get back to school? When you read reports, of course, from the police, for example, they tell you in terms of how many cases come in, are referred to police, and how many are managed. Still the issues of corruption, issues of mismanagement of cases, that see these girls not getting their rights fulfilled. So what we are saying in this process, can we ensure that we all work hard to see that we support these girls attain their rights? Of course, we as a government has put in the UPE, USE, at the university level now. So we have the government scholarships, we have the district quotas. There are opportunities, there are partners. For example, MasterCard Foundation is providing opportunity for girls to be in school. But sometimes we are not even able to get these girls. I remember when we started the... Sometimes
you're not able to get girls to help?
No, to enroll on these programs.
Oh, wow.
To enroll on these programs. Let me just give you an example. In 2017, when we started the program with support from MasterCard Foundation scholarship programs, we were targeting our districts, really, which are really doing badly in terms of economic empowerment, in terms of education. One of them was Hamudat. We could only get one girl in university, only one, who was not even qualifying for a degree program, was qualifying for a diploma. That is how we bad in some districts. And yet, the opportunity is supposed to be provided for all. Can these opportunities be revised by government and ensure that Amura does not even have a secondary school for A-level, for example. And yet, we want them, students from those districts, to compete at national level. So as we look at this day, can government, together with partners, review this kind of process to ensure that We ensure that girls attain their rights, they're able to get back to school, because the second chance, we're talking about second chance, that even if there are challenges, you became pregnant, you drop out, still you can get back to school and complete school.
And yet that age is very important, from 13 to 18 or 20, because usually that's the age of high school.
Yes.
So it's very important that secondary schools are available, or actually allow children or students to be able to attend regardless of whatever circumstance. Naziwa, what do you think we have many girls not enrolling?
The major reason I think of is empowerment. And the empowerment will come to parents and the girls themselves. Most societies, perception affects a lot. Like I said at the beginning, the societies that still believe that a girl may not require education, she's getting married, she can have a chance of getting a rich husband and her future is bright. So that is what they're waiting for. Some parents are looking at girls as dowry. Anytime my money is there. But when parents are empowered to know the importance of education, to know the importance of educating their child, that when your child goes to school, the dowry or the 5 cows you're expecting, when you take her to school and she completes education, she'll be in a brighter future, she'll get a better life, and you'll also be in a better state of life. And if these girls are also empowered and told the benefits of education, some of them do not know them. Some of them do not trust them because there is no role model, like Ms. Joseph has said it. There is no role model in the society. Most of the people they're relating with are primary 5 dropouts in their communities. So you cannot convince them. And those people have made some wealth. And I'm talking of some wealth in matters of they have some 3 cows. They have something tangible. They have chapati stalls. So, and they're making some money. So to them, that's what they're looking at. So you're not going to convince them that the future is bright when you go to school, you go to secondary school, you go to university. It has to be brought into them to empower them, to show them the importance of education, what they can get out of education. That's when when the mindset is changed of both parents, guardians, and their children themselves. That is when, because it is a double way. There's no way you're going to say that girls are dropping out, looking at other underlying factors. For example, the lack of materials to go to school. It is a two-way. Both parents and the children themselves. You find a way whereby a child is interested in going to school. I've seen those cases, but the parent is saying no. And there are cases whereby the parent is crying, my daughter does not want to go to school. So empowerment is the #1 thing. Then the next thing, like Joseph has said, policies to be approved. Why shouldn't a child go to school in the neighborhood where we have leaders, where we have stakeholders? That should be handled from grassroots. Before we go on to other things, it should be handled on to grassroots. And then another thing, I'll think why they're not enrolling, poverty. Poverty is a point as well. Schools today, even the UP schools, the scholastic materials that a child needs, some parents do not have the money, the access to get those scholastic materials in full. Then menstruation, like he has said it, menstruation is a factor. Some societies are not empowered, are not informed that even when a girl is undergoing menstruation, they can attend school and nothing happens. They still have cultural beliefs and norms and myths attached. When you are in your menstruation period, some of them when went into some school for sensitization about menstruation. She told us when you walk and you move through junctions, when you're in your menstruation period, your mother dies. Now imagine a 13-year-old who goes into her menstruation and she was told when you walk through junctions while going to school in your periods, your mother dies. Are you sure she'll go to school? She will not. So such myths will prevent her. So what we are supposed to do in return is to make sure all these things are encountered and are handled.
Mr. Ajama, there's a very thin, when you look at even how many tribes we have in Uganda, we have about 56 or more. We have people who are working from different walks of life. And culture plays a huge role even when you're speaking about these things. For example, the myths or the beliefs that they have about some of the things that are hindrances for the girls to enroll into school. What exactly has been done about this?
Yeah, of course, the government and its partners are trying their best. First, because a lot is around attitude, around norms, body norms. For example, issues to do with the early marriages, it's a norm that is affecting many girls from going to school, and of course, through advocacy, through engaging with the communities, with the parents, and also through enforcing the law. We have seen, by the police going and arresting people during marriage ceremonies, and this is somehow trying to deter a number of parents from marrying off their daughters when they are still young, but also providing education. That's why we're talking about second chance, that if we get back these girls from, even if she has been pregnant and there's an opportunity for her to drop out of school, still we can ensure that she gets back to school and complete. So government has done its best, partners are doing their best, but still there's a lot to be done to ensure that we provide now, recently you had the ministry talking about school feeding, for example, even wanting to provide milk for learners in school. These are opportunities that can keep the children in school. If the children are able to have food at school, you can be sure that even when they get out of class, they can come back in the afternoon. Just only hunger is keeping a big number of learners out of school. So, but at least some communities, parents are able to produce food and give to their children. Some communities have seen parents packing food, even in the villages.
One of the biggest issues as well in this conversation is menstruation periods and how this has been a hindrance. Why are we still talking about this, you think, in 2022? Naziwa.
Thank you so much. Actually, I'm privileged to have been able to work on menstruation practically in schools. I co-founded an organization called Africa Well Able with some of the alumni still from the MasterCard Foundation Alumni Scholars Program at BRAC Uganda. And one of the major challenges when you go to those schools is ignorance. Like again, I'm going to link it to culture, to beliefs and norms. Long ago, I'll talk for Uganda, long ago, those days when a girl would go into their periods, actually they would not even hear or know about it before. They would only be exposed to it when they are in there. That's when your mother or your auntie calls you aside, then they're even whispering, such that the people who are seated around cannot even hear, the boys cannot even hear anything about the menstruation. So they will tell you what they know, briefly, whether it is right, whether it is wrong, what they were also told. So that is, most of them had inadequate knowledge about menstruation. Some of them, they will tell you the perception. They will also tell you, actually, these norms, the myths we are breaking right now, that is what they were told at that time. So that has carried on, because if my grandmother was told that by her mother, that when you walk, when you're pregnant, when you're in your menstruation, you should always sit like this, you should not move out of the house. That's what she would tell to my mother. That's what my mother will tell me, so the cycle continues. And that's how transmission of wrong information, transmission of myths happened. So right now we are still in a society whereby a P4, a 9-year-old, when you go into those schools. For example, one time we were in a certain school in Buvuma Island, and the girl we asked her about menstruation. P4 is an age of 9, whereby health, according to health, we believe that from around 9 years, that's when menstruation starts. Long ago, they were not prepared, but now we are having 9-year-olds who are going into their menstruation. So they will be scared. Some of them will be told wrong information. But it is still an issue, like I've said, because those myths are not yet broken. Sensitization has not yet been made to a point that is satisfactory. Very many stakeholders, some of them come up to give out the pads. Parents are waiting for schools to teach their children. And remember, that topic is handled in around P6, where a child is around 11 years. So a parent is waiting for a teacher. She's scared. She thinks it is shameful. How will my daughter see it? They are scared because they lack information. They are scared because they still take them as myths. And right now, for us, what we have done is to move into those schools. Tell the 9-year-olds, prepare them to know that menstruation exists. Breaking the silence. Actually, our campaign was break the silence about menstruation. Telling them that it is normal. It is no longer a secret for a girl to menstruate. And we do male involvement in those sessions. We call up the boys to sit in the class. It was a reason, and it is still a reason why the girls drop out due to menstruation. Because when her dress or her uniform stains, the boys will laugh. Boys are laughing ignorantly. They do not know about menstruation. Probably they think it is bean soup on their dress. In some situation, a boy told us in a class that for them they used to think when a girl is menstruating, when they see blood stained on the dress, that girl urinates on bed. So a girl is scared to go to school. She does not know what the boy thinks. The boy, poor boy, is also ignorantly thinking. They are laughing because they think that girl urinates on bed. So there is a confusion. But when empowerment comes up and we talk about these things, we tell them menstruation is normal. Every girl, every woman, even your mother, even the ministers you are seeing, they also menstruate at a certain time T in a month. So the girl to be able to say, okay, if she was menstruating from this age and she was able to go through education, she's now a minister. That means it is normal. When we talk about it normally, the boys get to know, the boys are also involved. They are told, okay, at this time, a girl is expected to menstruate. It is normal. It is a life skill. They will not laugh. They will support them. Because they have sisters. At a certain time, they're going to be fathers. They're going to tell this right information to their daughters.
Yes.
So it will prevent and it will reduce, and at some time it will even stop dropout due to menstruation. Provision of materials to use during those days.
Yes.
Some of them do not have them. Some of them in some areas they're using, is it sand? They sit in sand. Others just use any piece of clothes, rubbish, toilet papers. Others use banana, are they called banana leaves? Ebiai. And that's what they use. But they cannot afford to buy a sanitary towel. Sanitary towel, the non-reusable is around 3,000.
600.
Yes, so 3,600. Now, which parent, we talked about poverty at the beginning. A parent does not have money to buy food, and they're going to be buying a pad monthly. No. Remember, some of them have heavy bleeding. They use about 2. They will not buy them. So what we come up to do is, as Africa, we have come up, and MasterCard Foundation Alumni at Uganda, to train these girls to use reusable sanitary pads, to make these pads using readily available resources. We're not going to send them to corporate companies to buy. Now there is this material that like these other companies like EcoPad uses, but we make them learn how to use readily available resources that they can access to make these pads.
Thank you for making a difference and at least having those conversations as well. Now, recently the MasterCard Foundation published a report titled Secondary Education in Africa, Preparing the Youth for the Future of Works. And this report says, among others, that girls and young women must be supported to finish their secondary education, as it is a major pathway to leadership, employment, and entrepreneurship. What is the status of girls' enrollment and completion in secondary school in Uganda, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I already said earlier on, statistics show that enrollment at higher education is even much lower, especially at secondary. I think we're talking about less than 30%. You can see it comes from primary, where we have more than almost 100% enrolling, but the completion rate is dropping to less than 50%. So we have these few we're able to get to secondary. But even these few, we have less than 30% who I think for girls it's less than 20%, less than 25% who complete. So we have very small number of girls who complete secondary. And there are many reasons to this that we have already spoken about. Issues to do with the performance, some of them because of the poor environment that they are in, the schools, they are not able to get the grades that they could. Some of them cannot compete for government scholarships. So that means we need a lot of effort to see that even the few who get to secondary at least are supported to complete higher education. The other day I was watching the deputy speaker talking about the need to reform the government scholarships. And that could, if that is reformed and provided opportunities to these vulnerable categories to also access higher education, that could be an option. Of course, we have the quota system that is on. Of course, we are grateful to MasterCard Foundation that has, for example, FAWE and BRAC, that has been able to provide scholarships for a long time to have students from these vulnerable districts get to higher education. One of the things that I would love to talk about is the program now that National Council launched in 2019, what that is called the Higher Education Access Certificate Program. This is the fourth entry to higher education. all of us know that for a long time, for you to go to the university, you must sit senior 6, and then you get the 2 principles, you go, or you go through mature entry, or you upgrade, maybe a certificate, a diploma, and then you go to the university. But now with support from MasterCard Foundation, FAWE Uganda was able to engage National Council to provide this 4th entry, what used to be called a bridging program. National Council now calls it Higher Education Access Certificate Program. That provides opportunity for a student, say who has got 1 principal pass or 2 subsidiary passes. Instead of you can go to the university, go through a 1-year bridging program, and then later on enroll to your course of choice. So this is an opportunity that is now providing a chance for these students who could have dropped out because maybe they go to 1 principal pass or they go to subsidiaries, to also go to the university. And we have seen in the last 2-3 years, more than 1,000 students have already gone to the university through this route. If you go to Bara University, this is now there. If you go to Gulu University, this is there. If you go to Bustema University, Lira University, Kabale University, Muni University, and several private universities in Uganda. And we are proud of this, that it is now providing opportunity, because even repeating senior 6, you are not sure whether it's actually more expensive to repeat senior 6. But someone can go to the university with their 2 subsidiaries or 1 principal pass.
Aren't we lowering the bar?
No, it's not lowering. This is fully examined and critically analyzed by National Council. For example, you have, for a long time, we have students from, say, countries that do not have the standard like Uganda, like Kenya or, say, South Sudan. Whenever they come to Uganda, they don't directly go to the university, but they go through this kind of bridging program, and then they go and do their degree. And they were doing this, some of them 6 months, 1 year, which was not even fully certified by National Council. But there are also students in Uganda who could benefit from this kind of arrangement. And that's the background upon which FAWE Uganda, with support from MasterCard Foundation, engaged National Council. And a curriculum was developed. And now we have a 4th entry to the university. And we are proud that this has provided opportunity for many young people. We have students out there who fail not because they are dull, but just that the condition in the school cannot allow them to get the grades that they needed. But when they're exposed to the environment in the university, they have performed, and now they are doing their degree programs. So all these plus many other support, mentorship. Sometimes we have all these processes, but still we are getting girls dropping out of school. So we blend these processes with the mentorship. She's talking about alumni. FAWE also has alumni, a very big number of alumni, including those ones that have gone through the MasterCard Foundation scholarship. So we do a lot of mentorship, going to this to share with learners, even as low as primary, secondary, even at the university, to ensure that even when you have all this, you have the money, you have all the support you need, the decision making is yours. When we pay your fees, the teachers take you through lessons. The last day of sitting an exam, the decision to write what makes you pass is yours. The teacher will not come and write. So that's what we tell the learners, that despite all these opportunities that we have, the final decision on you, to say, let me postpone sex and finish my studies, is you. And that is what is key, even as we talk about the time is now. Yes, we are creating an environment, but the final decision is on the learners themselves, on the children, on the students, on the girls, that my future is mine, I take lead, and the rest support me.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Naziwa, did you ever feel empowered or supported for you to finish secondary school education, and for you to even be able to enroll
for secondary school? I'll say yes, because I was on the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program at BRAC Uganda. Because the scholarship provided me an opportunity to education, provided me the mentorship. I was mentored, I was empowered on why I'm going to school, why I need to go through the secondary education.
Weren't you receiving that from your family, or no?
I'll be honest and I say that many families in Uganda, like we said it from the start, may not be able to provide. My family struggled a lot for me to go through education. Primary alone, my mother would struggle. My father would struggle to ensure that they can make ends meet. I'm not the only one going to school. There are other bills that are being met. So many other families also struggle like that. So I was empowered, that's why I would say yes. But then speaking for the other people who are not able to get a scholarship, for the other young people, those I would go to school with, they were not. Some of them are being sent to home almost every 3 days for school fees. As the rest are going on with education, with teachers are teaching, this one's out of class. Some of them were not lucky to get the scholarship, so there are very many things they lack that they're not being able to get. They don't be able to get the mentorship. For us, the MasterCard Foundation was able to, like you say, to support us to enroll and also to complete. That was through the mentorship programs we would have. It was through the trainings, the leadership sessions. Because for us, our package, it was a full, I call it a full package. We would not only get, actually they would not only pay school fees, they pay school fees, they give you scholastic materials. For the girls, it would be a point to receive sanitary towels for the girls to be enough for the full term. Then we'd also go through the leadership training sessions, entrepreneurship skills trainings, community service and give back sessions to ensure that you are well packaged to enroll, to be retained in school and as well to complete school.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you had faced and how did you even overcome them?
One of the major challenges were, I'll link it to poverty, lack of scholastic materials. Schools are sending out checklists with 2 dozens of counter books. Your mother can only afford, my mother can only afford 5 books at a time. Then my mother will tell you, use the books sparingly, but you have about 12 subjects and you're being given 5 counter books and teachers require all of them. Another thing is, we trek long distances to schools, by the way, in Uganda. Joseph talked about a district which does not have an A-level school. I'll use that as an example. If someone is to go to secondary school, you may find them trekking a distance out of another district. So we trek a long distance, and that distance is not even safe. For a time we go for morning prep is around, I think, 5 to go to school. So that distance is unsafe, long and unsafe. Hygienic facilities. In some of our schools, the hygienic facilities were very few. Latrines or toilets, you find that we are sharing with boys. In the front side is for the girls, then behind is the boys. So the girls use this route, the boys use the other route. So I'm not safe. I need to change. Am I really safe? So those are some of the challenges you realize. I already talked about the perception. Challenges why the girls may not be able to enroll and also complete. Perception in society of, now why should Jovia be taken to school when the brother is lacking? Any family, most of the families, when they get financial consequences, the girl, your parent will call you in their bedroom and they sweet talk you to ensure you can agree to sit and your brother completes, then your brother in turn, your brother pays for you. Will it be possible? It will not be possible. Another challenge is usually safe environment for the girls to talk to receive empowerment, to receive mentorship. Parents are not well empowered. Some schools do not have qualified senior women teachers where I can run. Those are very many challenges. So the girl is not having safe space to confide in, to talk to someone when they're having challenges, to run to. They don't have offices whereby at a certain point, a certain time ministry had talked about providing sanitary towels for girls in school. I don't know whether they are providing or they are not, but some schools do not have that safe space whereby the senior man teacher's office has some sanitary towels, in that when it happens while at school you can get some towels to help yourself. And we have talked about challenges like, one of another challenge is domestic violence. So the mother and father at home are having wrangles, domestic violence. At the end of the day, children are being shifted from this village to another village. So they are in school, then the mother and father have had challenges, then they go to the village during the course of the term. Then while they are there, they have enrolled in another village school, they have sorted themselves, they come back. Or others that are trekking from this village to the other village to the other village. All those are challenges, and they can be due to domestic violence as well.
Now, what role are you and the MasterCard Foundation playing in supporting young girls to enroll for and complete secondary school?
The MasterCard Foundation has established relationship with different partners, with BRAC Uganda, with Fawe, the other partners, to ensure that scholarship programs or supportive measures are taken up for girls to go to school. But then I'll speak for the MasterCard Foundation alumni at BRAC Uganda. I said this is an organization, it's a legal entity that was founded by alumni that was funded by scholars who are on the scholarship program of MasterCard Foundation at BRAC Uganda. We are about 5,445. What we have done is to ensure that we come up with strategies, with the initiatives that are going to give back. I told you, MasterCard Foundation trains us and gives us community service give back training sessions while in secondary school. So after, in our organization, we're able to sit and implement the strategies that we were taught. Initiatives have been formed. First, personally, I co-founded Africa Well Able with some other alumni. We have FOWAC. There are very many that these alumni have formed. But as a group, as a full board, what we do, we come up with mapping societies. Maybe Jovia can come up and tell us, you people, you know what? In my community, the challenge, very much of teenage pregnancy. What are we going to do? So we sit as a team. Our office is at Sao Paulo, off Sao Paulo, Kagwa Road, next to Uganda Microfinance Foundation building. So that is a thinking hub where you find young people seated and trying to see what solutions are we going to put in place to be the change we want to see in our communities. And what we have done, we have made outreaches. Some of the outreaches have been through menstrual hygiene management training sessions in schools. We have reached district, we have gone to Eastern Uganda, we have gone to islands, we have gone to Buvuma Island, we have gone to Bujiri, we are going to Luuka, we are going to Chotera. Chotera is my home district. We are going to Chotera. Visit schools like Kabale Sanje. We are going to those various schools, Kabale Sanje, Chotera, Kasambia School, Chiaji in Jinja, Masese Ko in Jinja, which is also a school for, it has very many students in Jinja, pupils that have come from Karamoja region, slum pupils that we have reached there. So we have done menstrual hygiene management campaigns. We have done career guidance. You know, we were taken through career guidance on the scholarship program. We're taught what we need, what we want to become, how to achieve that. So we have carried on that knowledge to secondary schools where we have empowered the students on how to select combinations they're going to do. You find a student wants to be a doctor, but they're doing MEG. So we have tried to do those sessions as early as senior 4, senior 3, senior 5, senior 6. We have done leadership trainings for them. We have trained prefects in schools. We have trained students themselves to give them self-discovery. Actually, one of the major tools we have been doing is self-discovery, for them to know their potentials, their talents, what can they do. And MasterCard Foundation alumni at BRAC Uganda, what we always abbreviate as MOFABO. Many people always hear MOFABO and they confuse us with MasterCard Foundation. For us, it is an entity of alumni. We have gone ahead in those schools to meet out to the, you know, when the young people hear from the young people, it is very easy for them to listen and take it upon. Because I'm going to tell them, some of them in those schools, we have been old girls and old boys. When we go back to give back, what we are saying, they really take it up because they have seen us. We are the same age, rather than when you know, when teachers keep talking to students, the students keep imagining that's what he's supposed to say. He's a teacher. When parents tell them, they keep saying, hey, she's my mother. What else is she supposed to say? She's supposed to tell me that.
Okay. Mr. Jama,
yes.
what role have you played in making sure that, you know, girls are encouraged and enroll in secondary education?
Yeah, thank you so much. Quite a number of interventions here. This year, FAWE Uganda makes 25 years of work in Uganda, and we are proud of that. And over these years, we have seen more than 10,000 young women and girls and boys complete higher education school, from secondary to higher education. And we continue to do this with support from MasterCard Foundation. We right now have 334 students supported by MasterCard Foundation in higher education. We have other donors like UN Women, which is supporting what we call a second chance education. So under second chance education, we see girls, even those ones coming out of marriages, we did discuss with their husbands and they allow their wives to get back to school get back to senior 4, get back to a technical school and complete and get a training. So that is how far it has gone to ensure that we have scholarship opportunities for students higher education at university. We have opportunities for students at the middle level, tertiary institutions. Those ones who are not able to get grades for A level for university, but they can do a course. They can go to a tailoring institution, they can go to a catering institution, they can go to a welding institution. And we have seen women doing welding, and we are proud about when we look at these processes. So apart also from just giving scholarships, there's a lot around system strengthening. Like I said, you can have the scholarships, the funds to provide the scholarships, but if the environment around the school, if the attitude of teachers is not good enough, a girl comes to school and the teacher says, now you are with your age, what are you looking for here? Next time the girl doesn't come. So as far as we have what we call gender responsive pedagogy, it's a model that we use to empower schools and teachers on their attitude, on their language use, their making sure that they are gender responsive, that the language you use is respectable for boys and girls, that the learning materials you use, when we grew up, the teacher comes to class and there's a picture there of a girl sweeping the compound and then the boy repairing a radio or climbing an electric pole. And then we are told we grow up to know that for girls, they're supposed to be sweeping the house, and for the boys, they're supposed to be repairing what? The vehicles. But now with gender responsive pedagogy, we train teachers to support all the learners, both boys and girls, that all of them can be scientists. Our president is proud of, and is always talking about science. So that's what we do. We create this environment. We do a lot of community engagement. She talked about male engagement, discussing with the husbands to see that can they support their girls, their daughters to be in school. We do a lot of awareness on sexual reproductive rights, because we know, although the guidelines on the school awareness on HIV and AIDS and sexual reproductive rights in schools is still pending, because the religious leaders did not approve it, but still we go a lot of way to ensure that even in the communities we create awareness about how girls can be able to protect themselves against early pregnancies, teenage pregnancies, how the dangers of unprotected sex. Because you talked about the COVID-19 and its impact. We did a research, and within the first 3 months, there was over 366.5% teenage pregnancies among in Uganda, in the selected districts that we went. And this is how even it could even be worse than that. And as far as we do a lot of awareness in communities to ensure that we support parents, we support the learners, support these girls to protect themselves against possible infections, possible pregnancies that could lead to their dropout. So we do a blend, we do a lot of advocacy. I talked about the guidelines that the Minister of Education signed in October 2020 on school re-entry and prevention of teenage pregnancies, in the teenage and management of teenage pregnancy in school. That was something that Farway took it and engaged the ministry. We now have the guidelines on the roles and responsibility of senior women and men teachers in school, because we feel when these girls come to school, maybe with their babies when they are pregnant, she talked about support from the senior women. If there's nobody to support these girls, to talk with other learners to appreciate the colleagues who are pregnant with their babies, they will drop out. So now we have this guideline, but what now remains is to roll this out. Most schools have not got this. So we are working with our partners, with the districts, to ensure that we sensitize schools that these policies are there, but what is left is to put them into action, so that there's a big opportunity that these girls can be able to be in school, not just to enroll, they can stay in school and complete. Because at the moment we have more scholarships at a higher level, at the university, at tertiary level. But if we don't have a lot of learners, special girls, who are going through primary, secondary, to be able to access the scholarships at higher level. Still, yes. That's why we see only the children of the rich are the ones getting the scholarships, because the children of the poor are dropping out and not getting the qualifying to get the scholarships.
Naziwa, how has this opportunity changed your life? The scholarship and the entrepreneurial skills and all these things that MasterCard Foundation has imparted in you.
Yeah, the scholarship program, MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program at BRAC Uganda has transformed my life. Being provided for the leadership skills and the entrepreneurship skills, I became a better leader. Currently, I'm the chairperson, Board of Directors, MasterCard Foundation Alumni at BRAC Uganda. I was president, Rotaract Club Source of the Nile, speaker, prefectorial body at my school through those skills that I gained, leadership skills. I co-founded an organization with other alumni called Africa Well Able, like very many other initiatives that goes back to communities and able to give back to provide a change in my society. I'm a leader at very many organizations where I serve as advisor on some schools as board of director advisors, just to ensure that girls can remain in school. I've been able to set up, and through the entrepreneurship skills I was able to set up or co-found a medical center. I'm a professional midwife. Set up a medical center, Chua Medical Services in Wakiso, and as well provide school-based health in various schools. I was able to express myself, self-awareness, to always plan better in my life, financial literacy through the entrepreneurship skills, to be a better person in society, to be able to express and be a voice to the voiceless. Just like I am here right now, all this that I am, what I have become, is because of the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program at BRAC Uganda.
Okay, Mr. Jam, as we come to the end of the
Yes.
show, we only have 2 more questions. Maybe if you can answer that a bit faster. What do you think the curriculum, the secondary curriculum in Uganda actually helps to empower the girl child?
Yes, when you read the curriculum has good intentions.
And helps to address the girl child's challenges?
Yes, it has, because it provides for practicum.
Okay.
But what remains now a challenge is application. I've gone to some schools. I don't yet see this really being applied. You go to school, I think the curriculum is saying that class learning should be up to 2 or 1. Then after that, there are practicals and the rest. But I've gone to schools, I see teachers pumping learners up to 5 still. So for me, that is what needs to be put into practice. I know the oriented teachers about the curriculum, but I'm not sure if all the teachers really have the knowledge or what it means to provide this kind of opportunity for learners to be in class up to a certain time and then spend these late hours learning and putting into practice what they have learned. I think for me, the intentions are good, but the rate of application of these processes, of this curriculum, is taking quite long. I've gone to some schools and I've not seen really, some schools I went in the evening, I went to see girls and learners really practicing and doing weaving and doing all these kind of skills. I only found them in class, being pumped like before. So for me, that is where the challenge is.
Okay. Maybe advice to a girl child out there.
I'll tell the girl child to remain focused, to have a dream and fight for your goal. Don't give up on yourself. Then I'll give a call to all parents and guardians that are staying with these girls. Please don't give up on them. Provide them with materials and the empowerment they need to go to school. When they go to school, they'll be able to be better people. They'll even be people that are better than any other person that you have admired in offices or in communities at large. Then I'll tell stakeholders to come up and fight for the opportunities and rights of the girl child.
Mr. Jam, are you a father?
Yes.
With the daughter or daughters?
A son, 2 sons.
Okay. Yes, future daughters.
Yes.
Please say something.
Yes,
to a girl child.
Like I've said before, we are doing all these efforts to empower our children, empower the girls. But the whole lot about to make the final decision. To make the final decision. Even with the scholarships that we provide, we provide learners with all the items that they need, like she talked about. But still we're getting girls getting pregnant and even dropping out of school. So for me, that is where we still do a lot of effort. Mentorship, yes, we're doing mentorship, but the final decision on the time is not yet for me to get pregnant. I still need to complete my studies. I think for me that is very key, that we still call upon all our stakeholders, all our partners, whenever we have a chance to engage with the learners, engage with the girls, that we also are doing our mentorship, we give you all the resources that you need, but the final decision lies on you to see that, can I first complete my studies and be a better person.
Thank you so much, Mr. Damina. We celebrated the International Girl Child Day on the 11th of October. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this conversation. Thank you for all the comments and what you've been saying on our social media and mainly on Twitter. And yes, stay in school, stay focused. The future is so bright no matter what you're going through, and you can always do anything that you put your mind to, because no one is stepping in your way, no one is standing in your way, and if you believe God, everything is possible. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good morning. Now, this show has actually been sponsored, by BRAC Uganda, Fawe, the Ministry of Education and Sports, in partnership with MasterCard Foundation. We love you so much. Bye-bye.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Our wetlands are being lost